Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Sorry, it's been a while. I won't waste your time, I'll get straight into the video. But first, I have a bone to pick with you. I am pissed. I am pissed. Why am I pissed? Why am I pissed, you say? So, we come over to my video here that I posted, 2 weeks ago. 16 views. I'm not mad at that. That's alright. But you know what? I only have 11 subscribers. Why don't I have 16 subscribers, huh? You know what else is wrong with this? Do you know what else is wrong with this? No comments. I've already given help. Do you guys hate me? Why are there no comments? I'm trying my best. So anyway, comment on this video. Like this video. Watch this video. So I got a show lined up for us. First, we're going to take a look at Ken Ham. Ken Ham, I believe, well, he's a creationist, and he basically built a museum that is like Noah's Ark, and it like tries to like apologize scientifically for Noah's Ark, which is ridiculous. But he's gonna explain to us what really happened to the dinosaurs. I'm excited because I love dinosaurs. Yeah.
What really happened to the dinosaurs?
Many people are perplexed by the topic of dinosaurs. Where did they come from? When did they live? What happened to
Millions and millions of years ago, and they went extinct.
them? You see, when you dig up a dinosaur skeleton, it doesn't come with a label attached saying, "Hi,
Well, you don't necessarily dig up a skeleton. You dig up rocks that are like in the shapes of skeletons.
I'm 65 million years old, and this is what happened to me." We have to interpret that skeleton in relation to the past. So where did dinosaurs come
Right.
from? What happened to them? When did they live? I want to show
Okay, you've asked this already, and I've answered this already. It's simple.
you that when you take God at his word in the book of Genesis, that we can explain dinosaurs.
If you take God at his word, this earth was before the stars. So, no.
And observational science actually.
Is this dude's eyes too far apart? Like, what's wrong with them? Oh no. You know what I forgot to do, guys? I forgot to transition over so you could see how unprofessional of me. Please forgive me. But look at this motherfucker. Look at those eyes. Look how far apart they are. Dude, that's like a bus trip, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
actually confirms
He looks like a Neanderthal. Like, you're living proof of evolution, dude. Like, look at you. Look at that nose. You look like a fucking caveman, dude.
that explanation based upon the Bible. See, the Bible tells us that God made the land animals on day 6 of creation.
Okay.
And who else was created on day 6? Well, Adam and Eve.
Oh, wow.
And how long ago was that? Well, when you add up all the dates in the Bible, about 6,000 years.
Okay. Bullshit.
So, taking God at his word in Genesis, dinosaurs lived beside people about 6,000 years ago.
No.
And they were
6,000.
vegetarian to start with. Genesis chapter 1 verse 29 tells us that all the animals were vegetarian. But then Adam sinned.
So a T-Rex couldn't have been a vegetarian. Have you seen a T-Rex's teeth recently, my friend? Like, have you seen a T-Rex's teeth recently? I'm gonna guess not. I'm gonna go ahead and guess not. Let's look at a T-Rex's tooth real quick. See that? You see that? That can't grind. That can only gnash. It had to swallow most of what it ate whole. That's designed to grab a hold and to rip. You can't eat plants with a tooth like that. It's just not possible. Sorry. This dude, I'm telling you.
And because of sin, everything changed. The whole of creation now groans because of sin. In fact, after the event of Noah's flood, God told Noah that now humans could eat meat, could eat
God told Noah, the drunk, who built a ship that is impossible to build, like literally impossible. If you would have put Noah's Ark in water, it would have bent and snapped. God told him what exactly?
eat animal flesh. But before that time, Noah, that now humans could eat meat, could eat animal
Oh,
flesh.
really?
But before that time, they're instructed only to
But they
be
can't eat shellfish, right? Something tells me you probably eat shrimp. And you're not supposed to eat pork. And if you want to bring up the whole Old Testament bullshit, like, isn't there like a line in Christian rhetoric that's like God's the same today, tomorrow, and forever? So
vegetarian.
Bupkis.
So sometime after sin, obviously animals started changing their diets as well. And the Bible tells us that there was a global flood and two of every kind of land-dwelling air.
Do you think he knows? Look at him. Do you think he knows he's peddling bullshit? Or do you think he really believes this?
Breathing animal went on board the boat that Noah built, Noah's Ark. Now people often say, wait a minute, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dinosaur kinds. No, there might be hundreds of dinosaur names, and many of those names are given to different variations within a dinosaur kind. But when you actually work through it, there's probably less than 50 dinosaur kinds. The T-Rex type kind, the raptor type kind, the sauropod
how
type
many
kind, and so it goes on.
species?
And the other thing to remember is that the average size of a dinosaur is only the size of a sheep or a German Shepherd dog or a small pony or something like that. You see, some of the
So what's
dinosaurs
the point? How does that prove that we ever walked alongside of them?
did grow large like the sauropods, but even they hatched from eggs and were once young adults, and
Right.
so would not have been that large. Actually,
Okay,
there was plenty
so-
of room on board Noah's Ark for two of every kind.
Oh my god. No, there wasn't plenty of room on Noah's Ark for two of every kind of land animal, let alone fucking there's no way that the plants could have been underwater for an entire year. This is silly. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. We're done. We're done with you. Let's move on to someone I like to call Josh Feuerstein. This guy is fucking hilarious. This dude is like Fred Durst and Paul Blart, fucking Kevin James, had a love child, and he turned out to be like a Baptist preacher. It's great.
Josh Feuerstein here. So I've been issued a challenge to publicly prove that God exists, and
Can't do it.
that atheism and evolution are illogical and just plain don't make sense. And
Well, logical, kind of. Makes sense. A lot.
without using a Bible, so here we go. You know, it's funny because a lot of times people that don't want me to use a Bible, they say things like, oh my God, I mean, that's just so illogical. I mean, evolution is the only logical explanation. But let's really look at how logical
That's because it is.
evolution really is. I mean, imagine that you've never read a history book, and all of a sudden you're driving through South Dakota and you see a mountain with 4 big faces on it. Well, we know it's Mount Rushmore, but say you didn't. And say all of a sudden you see it, would you just assume that that was a product of evolution, that the mountain had just evolved that way?
Okay, so no, just no. Alright, listen here, dumbass. So, you're assuming complexity means design. This is an old, tired, beaten to death argument. So, basically, you're implying, like, let's say we walk along a beach and you find a watch and you're like, oh wow, that must have had a designer. Well, of course we know that that had a designer. We have evidence to state that that was a designer, right? We also have seen complex things come out of nature without needing a design. You're too focused on patterns, and it's what humans do, all right? Just because something's complex doesn't mean it needed to be designed.
Or would you think that maybe that there had been an artist or a designer that had somehow carved those faces into that mountain? I mean, I want you to really think about it. Think about the house that I live in, or that even you live in. Think about the car that you drive. Those are complex beings, and yet each one of them has a blueprint. I mean, do you really think that the human body was built without a blueprint? Especially looking at
Kind of. So you'd think that, like, I mean, I'm just saying, if I were to build a human, I wouldn't put a playground next to a toxic waste dump, if you know what I'm saying. It's a little unhygienic down there, alright? So why would you make the place that you piss out of also the place that you fuck? All sorts of infections can get spread that way. Also, why should I have to worry about eating and breathing at the same fucking time? Kind of seems like simple little design flaws that if someone was all-knowing and super intelligent...
DNA, the fact that inside of you that there's a 3 billion letter code that specifically tells exactly
that gets fucked up all the time. Have you heard of Down syndrome? Yeah, see, have you heard of like birth defects? Have you heard of like hermaphrodites? And also, it's like necessary, like you're disproving yourself here, because DNA has to mutate in order for evolution to happen, which it does, which is why we have shit like Down syndrome, which once again just circles back to fucking, if there was an intelligent designer, DNA wouldn't fuck up as much as it does.
how you're made up. Doesn't that prove intelligent design? The fact that your body has a blueprint, how can it have a blueprint if it doesn't have a designer? I mean, think about the earth that we live in. Think about the fact that it's 8,000 miles in diameter. Think about the fact that it's 93 million miles from the sun. If it was any larger, well, the air would be far too dense and turn into water and cover the earth. If it was any
Okay, so life might have still arose, just not life as we know it.
farther or closer to the sun, we would either freeze or we would burn to death.
Okay, and life might have still arose, just not life as we know it.
Think about the fact that it's
Have you heard of tardigrades? Water bears? Look them up.
to 23.5 degrees, which allows us seasons. Think about the fact that it's the right distance from the moon, that when it spins, that it's able to control the tides. Think about the fact that the atmosphere is 78% nitrogen
so
and
if the tides were different, then we might just have less land mass, and life as we know it might not have arose. Keyword, as we know it, Josh. As we know it.
21% oxygen. I mean, even Stephen Hawking, the great
Didn't used to be that way.
physicist, had to admit that the universe and its laws of physics seem to be specifically designed for us. Now think about this. When it comes
No, 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 no. Okay, so think about the most abundant elements in the universe. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Oh, what else is there? Either way, now think about some of the core elements that make up life. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Kind of seems like life was bound to happen, doesn't it? When these ingredients, which are, by the way, the most fertile chemicals...
comes to evolution, the one reason that evolution can never match up with science is that an organism has never been shown to gain genetic information. So how could something
It doesn't gain, it just changes.
evolve from an atom, well, to a human being? How could it become molecule to man? You know, I realize that there's a lot of people out there that draw pictures of apes and they're just this evolution into humans, but I could do the same thing with a flower and a windmill. But it doesn't mean that it's true. It's a good artist and a good story. But the fact is that there's not one organism that has ever
Okay, so I can write an ancient book about a bearded sky daddy who shakes a finger at you and says, obey me or I'll throw you in a fucking fiery pit of hell. It doesn't make it true.
shown us that it has added genetic information. In fact, science has actually proved
Changes. It changed. Changed. Didn't gain. Didn't lose. Changed. Oh, and by the way, they can gain. Just saying.
that organisms lose genetic information over time. So how could something evolve when it's actually in the process of devolving? Another nail in the coffin of evolution? Well, this is just plain and simple. It's never been proven that life can come from non-life. End.
No, it hasn't been proven, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. That's like your whole standpoint with your God. And by the way, screenshot. Someone meme this. Look at this stupid motherfucker. Someone Photoshop a dick in his mouth for me.
Of story. Now, I want to tell you today that you have been designed by a God that loves you, a God that is life. And maybe today you're
blah blah. Share this. You can save someone's life. Blah 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 blah. Fuck off, Josh. So now to end the show, I've got some interesting articles. Let me go ahead and put you in the article reading mode. Boom. Oh, there's videos. Oh, well, fuck it then. We'll just...
You know, here at KVUE, we do cover a lot of crime stories in Central Texas. A lot of it involves weapons like guns and knives. But there's this one crime story that Tony Plahetsky heard about that seemed unbelievable. So Tony checked it out. This is so bizarre.
It's bizarre. I've been waiting all day.
Bizarre. It's fabulously bizarre.
To tell people about this story, Terry. When I heard from sources down in Caldwell County, they called me and told me about this, I was ready to say no way. But yesterday, late in the day, I got my hands on arrest documents and a mugshot, and I can tell you that this is no joke. Take a look at this man. His name is Ryan Felton Salter, and he is facing 2 charges.
One Charles Manson looking motherfucker if I've ever seen one, man. Holy shit.
Deadly conduct and criminal trespass of a habitation. According to his arrest documents, Sauter got into an argument with a neighbor back on June 17th in the community of Dale. They live in RVs next
Of course they live in RVs next to each other.
So it sounds normal so far, but here's where things get weird. Investigators say Sauter was walking away from the argument when he found a rattlesnake. And officials tell me they think Sauter then bit the end of the snake so that it couldn't make that sound that a rattlesnake usually makes. He then is accused of walking into his neighbor's RV and putting the snake inside. So I went out to Dale today to find that neighbor.
He picked up a rattlesnake, bit the rattle off of the rattlesnake, and put it in this dude's RV. What were they arguing about that made him do this? What a badass.
His name is Keith Monroe.
I haven't seen or heard anything like that since the old cowboy days. You know, they used to throw a snake in a room with the 2 gamblers, and whoever got bit won. I didn't know what to think. I was like, I was scared, really.
Is that real? Is that a thing?
So Monroe tells me that he went inside his RV, and that is where he spotted the snake. He said it was near the driver's side of the RV and that he grabbed a machete and killed it. So officials say when the sheriff's office asked Sauter about that snake, according to them, he did confess. So a rattleless rattler intended as a weapon in a neighborly dispute, only here in Texas. Intended as a weapon. According to them, he did confess. So near the driver's side of the RV and that he grabbed a machete and killed it. So officials say when the sheriff's office asked Sauter about that snake, according to them, he did confess. So a rattleless rattler intended as a weapon in a neighborly dispute, only here in Texas. Terry and Quita.
Makes me so grateful.
Alright, last up on the queue. Man with gun tattoo on face arrested for gun possession. I don't know if the video is gonna play because fucking ABC is bullshit. Whatever. Good thing we're in the article reading mode. A man in South Carolina with gun tattoo on his face has been arrested for illegally possessing a gun. Who would have thunk it? Michael Vines, who is federally prohibited from possessing a firearm, allegedly tried tossing... I wonder why he was prohibited from possessing a firearm. Allegedly tried tossing away a loaded .38 caliber revolver after a recent car accident was spotted by firefighters responding to the scene, police said. The Greenville firefighters alerted Greenville police, who provided details of the arrest on the department's Facebook page. Where was this? Greenville. Where's Greenville at? South Carolina. I guess I read that earlier, huh? I was expecting Florida. So there's that. it just kind of, well, yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about that, but it's a thing. So there you go, guys. There's a show pumped out for you. I'm going to try and do these more often. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.